Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very special and emotional interview. We are here to honor the life of Equasia Vaughn, a beautiful soul whose story deserves to be heard and remembered. We'll be speaking with her mother, Shante Grace, who will help us understand who Equasia truly was, the events leading up to her passing, and the legacy she leaves behind. This is a space for truth, healing, and remembrance. I'd like to introduce you all to Shante Grace, the loving mother of Equasia Vaughn. Thank you so much for being here with us today and for sharing your daughter's story with the world.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, so can you tell us about who Equasia was as a person? Her personality, her dreams, like what made her unique?
You know, Equasia was a lot like me. She's so kind-hearted, so giving, so loving, and she barely complained about anything. And if she did complain, it was something small that I could always help with.
That's amazing. What was she like growing up?
Well, Equasia was fun. She was a little beautiful. She's always been a nice, kind. Ever since she was a little girl, ever since she was a baby, she was so beautiful. There was hardly nobody she didn't like. Hardly nobody. She liked to have fun. And so she was, at that time, she was particularly close with her dad.
How would her friends and family describe her?
Fun. She was the life of the party. You know, when the house was dead, she would come in and she would liven it up. Her brothers and sisters truly loved her.
That's so amazing. Was it something about her spirit or her talents that made her outlook on life stood out most to you? Like, what about her that stood out? If you were to tell a stranger who Equasia was or what she did, what is one thing you'll say that stood out about her?
She was loving and helping. She's a go-getter. She was a definite go-getter. You know, she just didn't sit around and wait for somebody to try to take care of her. She went out and got her own jobs. She got her CDLs. You know, she had opened an organization. Well, she was trying to get it off its feet. It was for homeless kids. She was trying to take them in as a foster mother, and you know she had to let it go for a minute. But just before she died, she was trying to get it back. You know, because she loves kids. She loves being around people. All her life, she's always just wanted to be a helper.
Yeah, I definitely, when I did the initial reading with her, mediumship reading, I definitely felt the presence of, she was very strong-willed, very confident, very independent, but also I picked up on the fact that she went above and beyond for people that she loved and cared about. Even for a stranger, I picked up on that as well. Like, she gave her all to anybody that she met, and that's one thing that I connected with her when I did the story. And personally, I wanted to ask you, based on the video that was made on what exactly happened to Equasia, how did you look at that video? Like, what was the feedback for that?
Well, you know what? I think your video was right on point. Right on point. You know, we had suspicions of another person besides her boyfriend. And your video picked right up on it. You know, in fact, your video gave me more insight than the police even gave me, the detective.
Right. Well, y'all hearing it from Equasia's mother, when I did the video, I had to literally go over it so many times because I felt so many missing pieces, which explain what you were feeling, what you were going through, that you wasn't getting all the full story. And I always tell like my clients that, you know, and my listeners, it may not resonate. Everything may not resonate because when speaking to the spiritual realm, like there are other people that could come in and want to communicate. So I try my best to focus on Equasia and what she wanted to say. So let me ask you, before she went missing, was there any signs that her life was kind of shifting that you noticed? So like, was she acting differently? Was there anything going on that was that you were concerned about?
Not really. I hadn't talked to her in about a week or two. And when I did talk to her, it was like a conversation with me, her, and her boyfriend. They were having real problems. She was basically trying to leave him. And we would all have three-ways. But you know, it never worked out between them. You know, I just, at the end of the day, I just wanted my daughter to be happy. And at that time, she really wasn't happy in the relationship that she was in with him.
Right. So you did notice that before her passing, just the last time that you spoke with her, that she wasn't in the most happiest state that she would usually be in. Can you walk us through you first getting notified that your daughter was missing?
Yeah, one of her friends, somebody had called me and told me her mom had went to the store and hadn't come back, and she was hungry, so she had called her daycare provider, which the kids have known since they were babies. And I talked to the daycare provider, and she said she had brought them some McDonald's, and then after the Equasia didn't show back at home, she took them to her house. And then her so-called best friend, Leja, called me and told me the kids were in the house, and they were in the house for like a day and a half without no food. So I immediately contacted my job and tried to get a flight out there. And when I had talked to her oldest daughter, Samaya, she said about 3 o'clock in the morning, between 3 and 4 in the morning, she looked outside and her mom was out there sitting in her car. And I'm going to come over and bring it back. Outside sitting in her car, and she said there was the grocery list and some money on the table. So she said when she woke back up, her mom still hadn't came in the house, and she looked on the table and the money in the grocery list was gone. So she thought her mom had just went grocery shopping. And then when they started getting hungry, that's when they called their daycare provider. So, oh my God. So, in the meantime, I kept in contact with the daycare provider, her friend Leja, the whole time. And for some reason, I just didn't feel Equasia was gone at that time. I couldn't figure out where she went, but I knew something had happened. I knew she was in danger. So when I got there, I questioned Samaya's some more, and she just kept telling me she thought her mom went grocery shopping because the grocery list and the money was gone. So if I backtrack, before I came out there, me and her friend Leja, she went to the police station and made a police report. on my behalf, and I was on the other line. So Laisha made the police report, but when I got there to pick up the police report, they would not give it to me. They would not give me the police report. They would only give it to Laisha, and for some reason Laisha wouldn't pick the police report up. But we drove down to the police station, and they gave her somewhere else to pick it up. In other words, I never got the police report for like almost a month. And I kept calling the missing person detective, and he would never answer my phone calls. And then when I got to LA and I called him, he finally answered, but he only answered on the three-way with someone else. Now, mind you, I'm making all these calls trying to find out what's going on with my daughter. Nobody telling me nothing. But at the end of the day, everybody knew something except for me. Except for me. Everybody got information on my daughter except for me. I had to get secondhand information. So I stayed out in LA for 4 days inside the Equasia's house, just hoping that she would come home. And on the fourth day, my job was telling me that I had to come back. And so I packed up all I could of the girls' stuff, their animals and their clothes, and we headed back to Los Angeles. But before I left, I tried to get Laisha to get the police report for me. And for some reason, she just could not get that police report either. Or I really don't know what the situation on that part. So when we got back to New Orleans, I tried and tried again, over and over, to get a hold of Detective Henderson, and he would never call me back. And when before I left LA, the detective did call me. Detective Henderson did call me and told me that they had found Equasia's car. And I don't know if he slipped and gave me the address or he gave it to me on purpose, but as soon as he gave it to me, I went straight to Equasia's car. And when I looked at the car, it was really messy. It was really messy. It wasn't illegally parked. And I knocked on the trunk. And I tried to talk to the neighbors. The neighbors would not talk to me. It was like if they knew something but didn't want to talk to me, and they were all very outlandish. They wouldn't give me no information on the car. They would not talk to me. They would take my phone number but never call me. And so I left, and I asked the detective, what did you think about Equasia's car? And he said the car looked normal. So that didn't make sense to me. So I took somebody in Kinsey, and we went to the car, and I asked them to look in the car and tell me what they thought about the car. And they said my mom would never keep her car like this. And I said I thought so. The car was really tore up. But the detective said there was. I asked him, did he take any fingerprints? He said no, because there was no crime committed. And I told him, you know what? My daughter's been gone. She's missing. And you found her car. You didn't find her keys. She ain't in the trunk. And you're going to tell me there's no crime committed? And he really felt there was no crime committed. But I recorded the car and the inside of the car, and I sent it to him with no response. So when we got back to New Orleans, the Detective Henderson would talk to everybody but me. So then a couple of weeks after I got home with the girls, Equasia's sister called me and told me they had found Equasia's body a block and a half from her car. And this was after the news report. One of her friends, loyal friends, got my daughter on the news. for a split second. And within that split second, 2 hours after the news, 2 hours after the news had shown, they towed her car. And I was told they towed it to the police station. But in actuality, it didn't get towed to the police station. It got repoed. I guess the people from the car dealership seen it on the news and went and got the car. Them people didn't take no fingerprints, no nothing. They could have found my child alive. They didn't even try, you know.
Yeah, then, I definitely understand, and I'm once again, I am so sorry for your loss and the fact that you had to go through all of that with unanswered questions and having to leave your child's home so abruptly due to a lot of people not really caring. In this type of world, like, you have people that deals with stuff like that, where when someone loses someone or someone's going through this type of traumatic situation, they really do not care how it affects them. They're just wanting you to do what they want you to do. And I'm so sorry that you had to experience not knowing anything in that type of situation, and that your grandbabies I'm pretty sure was very scared in the process. I wanted to ask you, from can you give us, the listeners here, the dates that Equasia Vaughn went missing, and how long was it before she was found?
Equasia went missing. She was shown on the camera. I went to the neighbor, and he showed me the camera view, and it was 6:19 when she was out of the mailbox, and the mailbox was right next door to his house. Right, actually, it was like on his house, and you see her checking the mail, and then you see her. She disappears for a minute, and you can see. Then you see her car pulling out the driveway. At that time, it was 6:30 a.m. And you see her pulling out, and to never return. So when I got back to New Orleans, we were here for like 2 weeks, and that's when her sister called me and told me they had found her body on July 16th in someone's house.
Oh my goodness.
And she was dead. Now, my daughter's car was only a block and a half from where she was killed. And the police couldn't find them. There was so many cameras on people's house, on those apartments. Where her car was parked, there was nothing but apartments. And all of them had cameras. And they didn't check the cameras or even the street cameras to see how my daughter got there. They could have saved her life. She could have still been alive if they would have done their job. Now, if it was been a little white girl or a white man or a white woman, they would have found them right away. And I also feel that if it was one of those detectives' kids, they would have got found that day. Because they would have went beyond and beyond for their own. But they're not going to... Their job is to serve and protect. You know, you're in this business to help people, but you don't help. You know, especially when it comes to a black woman, a black child, a black man. If they black, you ain't got nothing coming. You might as well consider your child dead, your wife dead, your girlfriend dead, because they're not going to help you. They're going to send you a bunch of lies and tell you they're going to call you back, or they'll never call you. When you call them, they're not going to answer the phone. They're not going to return your messages. They're not going to do nothing for you. And that's a shame, because of your color of your skin, we get treated this way. You know, you can just imagine, if they really cared, how many black people would be found, just like them white people.
And, you know, just by you saying that, this is why I started doing missing person readings. I didn't even expect to do Equasia Vaughn's story, and I never expect who I read into. I allow myself to be divinely guided to that person, and I didn't. It's this here is the entire reason. Like, she's not the only mother who has experienced unanswered questions due to the system or due to just people not wanting to speak up. So this is the one of the reasons why I'm doing it, and it's to help families, and it's to help give answers, whether it resonates or whether it doesn't. Is to put their story out there. And so I'm so thankful and appreciative of you to want to do this interview and to get Equasia Vaughn's story out there, your daughter's story out there. Let me ask you, what is something that you would tell other people that is going through what you're going through? What are some lessons they can pick up based on Equasia's story?
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard as hell just to concentrate on trying to do something. You're going to be shut down so many times. And it's not by your loved ones that's helping you. It's by the police, the detectives that's so-called supposed to help you and be there for you. You're going to get shut down. You're not going to get your phone calls answered. You're not going to get any response to your messages. You got to do your own footwork. When it comes to your own, you got to do your own footwork and try to bring them as much as you can. Try to get them on the news. Try to get them on all social media. Somebody out there knows something. And it's most likely, in my case, I feel it's somebody very close to her. Because I talked to her friends, and a lot of people were jealous of her. And Equasia was a normal person. She just went out and got what she wanted to get. She worked for what she got. She made sure her kids were taken care of. It's not one of her friends that had anything negative to say. I had strangers say that they met her and liked her personality and how bubbly she was. But there's somebody in that group that knows something and just not saying nothing, even if they are involved or not. Withholding information is so bad. I just want to know what happened to my child. Why did she die? Why did somebody want to hurt her? Of all people, why? And I'm getting all these positive conversations with these people and telling me how beautiful and kind-hearted and helping my daughter was. But somebody hurts her. Something's not right with this situation. Somebody in my daughter's group knows something, because a few of her friends said there was people that were jealous of her. I want to know who. What did she do to have to end up dead? And I know she didn't do nothing. Nothing to nobody. So many of you have told me Equasia has opened her doors for you, came to the hospital for you, fed you, babysit for you, checked on you, made sure you were okay. And that's my daughter. That's who she was. She was a loving person. I don't know what's going on, but if any of you guys know anything about my daughter's death, please tell the police. Tell them anonymously. Let's get answers for her. Let's get answers for her kids. Her kids are going crazy. Her kids are getting sick. Her kids are not mentally stable. They're trying to go on, but they can't because they don't know what happened to their mother and why she had to die.
Yes.
And it's hard on me because I haven't even had time to grieve. Trying to stay strong for them. And it's not fair for me not to know what happened to my child. It's not fair. It's not fair that the police are not on their jobs like they should be. It's just not fair. Equasia was my best friend. We told each other everything. We knew each other's problems. And we called each other, kept in touch. She would come to New Orleans to see me, bring the kids, leave the kids with me while she takes little vacations. And now my baby is gone. My beautiful baby is gone. With no answers.
You guys are hearing it first. This is the real, the raw emotions of Equasia's mother, Shantae. If you have any knowledge on what happened to her, please step forward. Even if it's anonymous, we encourage you guys to speak to help gain closure to her children, to Equasia's memory, to her family. I thank you so much, Shantae, for your strength, your honesty, and for keeping Equasia's story alive. Through your words, we not only remember her, but we also shed light on the truths and questions surrounding her life and passing. To our viewers, if this interview touched you, please keep Equasia and her family in your prayers. Share this video to keep her memory alive, and remember that every life has value and meaning. This has been an interview honoring Equasis Vaughn. Thank you for watching, and may her spirit continue to inspire and guide us.